Welcome to Competitive Crunch. My name is Spade, and this is a show which is not quite bite-sized. Hence the crunch. It is more powerful and super effective. And welcome to part 3 of this new show. And first off, I would like to thank all of you for the kind support on the first episode and the second one also. I've got a lot of good feedback, some likes and a lot of comments, so I do really appreciate it. I wasn't really sure how this new show would be taken, because it's kind of like a random one-man podcast kind of show. But I'm glad you guys like it, and things are only going to get better as we got some more interesting topics. You know, with the first 2 episodes, it was kind of just, charting the area and going through some general topics. But getting straight to the point here, today we are going to be discussing the new abilities of Pokemon X and Y. Generation 6, and in total, at least at the moment, there are 24 new abilities. However, there may be more, because it might just be so that there's definitely a good chance that there's gonna be even more Mega Evolutions and even new Pokemon in this generation that we do not know at this time, and they may have some new abilities. Because like, if you look at the Pokédex, you would think there would be more legendary Pokemon, and these might just be like event Pokemon. For example, one Pokemon that is definitely missing is that cute base 100 stat across the board legendary Pokemon that is in every generation. Like, I'm talking about Mew, Celebi, Jirachi, Shaman, and Victini. There should be one like that, and it may just have a new ability, so that's kind of the point there. There might be some new abilities that, at the moment, we do not know of. But today I'm going to be talking about those that we do know. So in total, at the moment, there are 24 new abilities, and without further ado, let's just jump right into the list and just go through some of these new abilities, and I'm going through in alphabetical order. And so we are going to be starting with a new ability, the first new ability on this list, which is Aerilate. And at least at the moment, it is the signature ability of Mega Pinsir, and it will turn normal type moves into flying type ones. And that is definitely a good move or good ability on Mega Pinsir, because by default, Pinsir being like a stat beetle that's on the ground, it doesn't really learn any flying type moves. It may get Aerilate, but that's definitely not enough. So Mega Pinsir turning into Bug and Flying type definitely could have some Flying type stat moves, and stab as in same type attack bonus, which is still, I believe, 1.5 times the boost if you are using the same type attack as the Pokemon has a type of. So Pinsir Mega Pinsir doesn't have access to many Flying type moves besides that Aerilate, which I'm not even sure if it learns that, but it kind of sucks anyways, so it definitely could use some better moves. And so Game Freak decided to give it this new ability Aerilate, which will turn normal type moves into flying type ones, and it's definitely a good ability on it. Although Mega Pinsir by itself, bug flying type, at least defensively, not really good. It's not going to be sticking too much around. But let's not get too much off topic. But definitely an interesting ability again. And I was battling Magnitude, and he was using a Mega Pinsir, and he was using Trash on it, and it's I believe now 120 base power, a normal type move, so it turned into a flying type move. So that was pretty cool. And I guess if you want to have a bit of a safer option on Mega Pinsir, I guess like a return would do just fine if you don't want to get locked into Trash and stuff like that. But yeah, definitely a good ability on Mega Pinsir, because it kind of patches up that lack of flying type moves that Pinsir normally doesn't have. So there you go. Moving on to the next one, which is Aroma Veil. And it is learned by Spritzee and its evolution Aromatisse, and the official description says that it protects allies from attacks that affect their mental state. So what does mental state mean in English? It means this Pokemon cannot be taunted or tormented, and I'm not sure about does it affect attract. But then again, attract is irrelevant because it's not competitively a good move, so we shouldn't even talk about the move attract. But the main attraction here, no puns intended, never, The main attraction here is definitely the fact that this Pokemon, Aromatisse, cannot be taunted. And I guess the Torment thing is kind of nice too. But basically that means this Pokemon Aromatisse becomes this untauntable supporter, which is definitely an awesome thing for it. And I think the biggest impact this is going to have is in the doubles. And it does get, Aromatisse does get some really nice support moves, as in dual screens. So of course I'm talking about Light Screen and Reflect, and then Trick Room. So imagine this Pokemon in doubles, not being able to, you cannot taunt this Pokemon, so it's basically guaranteed to be able to set up Trick Room unless it gets one-shotted. But this Aromatisse is quite bulky, and if you have like a Fake Out user with that, you are guaranteed to set up Trick Room with this Pokemon. It cannot be taunted. It doesn't need to be using like a mental herbs, so it can still abuse its good natural bulk with leftovers if you want to have that. So that's definitely a nice thing. And some other moves it learns: Aromatherapy and Heal Pulse. I guess that's kind of a more situational move, even in doubles. Like it's not, well, it's only used in doubles, obviously, but even there, it's not, you know, that common. But I guess the fact that it can't be taunted might make this move into an interesting choice on this Aromatisse. And then I guess in singles, like I guess it could use like Calm Mind to like try to boost up. But, you know, I don't know. It's more of a thing in doubles. And then, like, I believe it's one of its signature moves, Aromatic Mist. And it basically raises the target's special defense. So it works kind of like Heal Pulse, but instead of healing the Pokemon, it raises its special defense by 1 stage. But kind of a situational move. And definitely the main attraction here is the fact that it's an untauntable Trick Roomer in doubles with good bulk, and I think that's why this Aroma Veil is gonna have at least somewhat of a impact on this Aromatisse Pokemon in doubles. I'm not much of a doubles player, so I can't really say much else, but I would at least think it could have some sort of impact there in the doubles scene. But then, moving on, we got Aura Break, which is the signature ability of the legendary Pokemon Zygarde, which is most likely going to be the title box legendary of Pokemon Z whenever that gets released. It's like the obvious choice at this point, because 3D Pokemon game, 3 dimensions, X, Y, Z. But who knows if there's like X2 and Y2 just to troll people. But anyways, the point being, Zygarde, the 3rd legendary Pokemon of the XYZ trio or the Norse mythology trio, whatever you want to refer to it as. It has this Aura Break ability, which basically reverses the other Aura abilities of Xerneas and Yyveltal. So they got this Dark Aura, and then what's the Fairy Aura? Yeah, pretty simple names. Dark Aura, Fairy Aura, and they boost up the powers of Dark type moves and Fairy type moves respectively for Yyveltal and Xerneas, and this Aura Break ability of Zygarde just reverses those, so they actually get their Dark type moves and Fairy type moves decreased by a little bit. So yeah, but you know, it's a signature thing. They have to have some sort of cool synergy going on with this trio, so that's what they got going on. You know, you got the Xerneas and the Yyveltal as the main legendaries, and then, you know, much like with Groudon and Kyogre in the Generation 3, you had Rayquaza kind of just it was the balance. It was the Pokemon that was meant to bring the balance to those Pokemon, and it had the Cloud9 on, or it wasn't Cloud9. It has Airlock. Yeah, it has the same effect as Cloud9, but it was called Airlock. So it was there to you know, balance out their abilities, and this is just kind of the same kind of thing going on. And you know, they are the legendary Pokemon, so they kind of have to have this some sort of like random synergy going on. But enough of that, just kind of random ability on the legendary Pokemon. They are so powerful, so they don't really need any better abilities anyways. But enough of that, we move on. Next on the list we got Bulletproof, and it protects the Pokemon from some ball and bomb moves. And it is the hidden ability of Chesnaught family. Not sure if any other Pokemon are going to be getting it, but at least at this time it is exclusive to Chesnaught. We may got some more, but yeah, then again, moving on. But talking about this Bulletproof ability, I do have a list of moves that it does affect. So basically, this Pokemon with Bulletproof, it gains immunity to moves that are on this list. So starting with Acid Spray, Aura Sphere, Barrage, Bullet Seed, Egg Bomb, Electro Ball, Energy Ball, Focus Blast, Gyro Ball, Ice Ball, Magnet Bomb, Mud Bomb, Octatsuga randomly, Rollout, Seed Bomb, Shadow Ball, Sludge Bomb, and Weather Ball. So these moves at least are confirmed to be immune to the Pokemon that have the Bulletproof ability. So at least one thing that pops into my mind is that Chesnaught with this hidden ability Bulletproof is immune to all the most common attacks of Gengar, being Shadow Ball, Focus Blast, and Sludge Bomb, because Sludge Bomb is actually quite a decent move on Gengar now with the introduction of Fairy type. You want to have that stab poison type move now on Gengar. Oh, who knows how popular it will actually be once the metagame actually sets, but at least now, you know, it can be used to deal with those Fairy types on Gengar. So it's basically immune to all the most common moves of Gengar, but then again, Gengar does now have access to Dazzling Gleam, and Chesnaught, being a fighting type move, gets kind of destroyed by a Fairy type attack such as Dazzling Gleam. But somewhat of a situational move, but definitely some powerful moves here, like the ones on Gengar. So definitely, like, it could be used, because Chesnaught kind of a bulky Pokemon, so it could definitely use it over the ability Overgrow. That's what all the starter Pokemon have, the grass type ones. So the fact that it's immune to like 3 out of 4 attacks of Gengar could definitely be a good thing for it. Plus some other moves on the list, so like it could be worse, but interesting ability regardless. And then we move on. Next on the list we got a Cheek Pouch, which is learned by ability that abilities are not really learned, but Pokemon that have it are Bunnelby, Diggersby, and Denenne. And it restores HP as well when the Pokemon needs a berry. So if you have like a Bataya berry or a Shellac berry, it also restores a bit of your health. But honestly, kind of a situational ability that is not really good. Especially if we talk about Bunnelby and Diggersby. Diggersby especially, because that's the fully evolved Pokemon, therefore more relevant competitively speaking. Diggersby has access to huge power. That is definitely the preferred ability on it, period. And then we have Denenne, which is the Generation 6 Pikachu. You always gotta have this cute electric rodent, and that is Denenne in this generation. And I guess it could use Cheek Pouch if it's using some sort of berry set, but again, kind of a situational ability, which is not really that good. So we move on to something more competitive. In fact, there's a new ability called Competitive, although it's, to be honest, not really that good, because it is, well, first off, it is learned, this ability competitive is learned by the Wigglytuff family, Gothitelle family, and then Milotic. And it basically boosts special attack stat by 1 stage whenever the Pokemon with the ability competitive gets one of its stats lowered. So kind of a situational ability. Like for example, you have Milotic with competitive, it gets hit by Shadow Ball and it gets its special defense lowered. In that case, it would get its special attack boosted up by 1 stage. But I guess, so on that aspect, it's really situational. So moves that happen to have a chance to lower some stat may raise your special attack, you know, if your opponent does get a drop. So extremely situational, but I guess a situation where you would run into it is Sticky Web, because it practically lowers your speed by 1 stage. So you send out a Pokemon with competitive, it will raise your special attack by 1 stage. But then again, when you get your speed lowered, you won't be doing any sweeping anyways. And if we talk about Wigglytuff here, it does have that fairy typing now, but it's still not really a good Pokemon competitively, so it's kind of irrelevant. Wigglytuff really just cannot use it. If you want to use Wigglytuff, I think it's best off used as some sort of supporter with Thunder Wave and Wish and Protect and stuff like that. It's not gonna be a special sweeper anytime soon. And then if we talk about Gothitelle, I believe it still has access to Shadow Tag. I know Chandelure that never got Shadow Tag no longer has Shadow Tag, so that's kind of funny. And then Mega Gengar got Shadow Tag, so what's going on with that? But anyways, that's a story for another time. But Gothitelle, I do believe, again, it still has access to Shadow Tag, which is arguably the better ability as opposed to unreliable competitive that may, in some weird instances, give you a special attack boost. The fact that you can trap Pokemon whenever you want with Gothitelle, even though Gothitelle is not the best Pokemon, but it can still put a Shadow Attack to use, so it's definitely the preferred ability. And then if we talk about Milotic, you know, Milotic is often seen as more of a defensive Pokemon, and as a defensive beast that Milotic is, I think it is best off with the Marvel Scale ability. So whenever you put a Toxic or a Burn on it, or if you happen to be using like a Rest Talking set, which is definitely better now in Generation 6, because sleep turns, they don't reset like in Generation 5, so Milotic could definitely put Sleep Talk to better use, more reliable use in this generation. So even Milotic can't really abuse this competitive ability too much. And again, it is just so situational. Either you get hit by one move and get your one random stat lowered, or then you have to rely on opponent bringing sticky webs. So extremely situational ability. I don't know if in doubles you could put this ability to better use, but like with these Pokemon, like not really the best ability again. So depends on if this ability gets better distribution in the future. Who knows if more Pokemon actually are going to have it. But yeah, that's about it about competitive. Then we move on to, we got Dark Aura and Fairy Aura. We kind of went through those abilities already. The signature abilities of Yyveltal and Xerneas, so we can move on. We got Flower Veil, which prevents lowering of ally grass-type Pokemon stats, and that's the Pokemon that learn it are part of the Florges family, so Floetch and Flabebe are the Pokemon that learn it, and kind of a situational ability. I don't know if it could be like somehow used in the doubles metagame, but it only prevents the attack lowering and the other stats being lowered by the fellow grass types. So it can only be used in doubles, but still like not really that good of an ability. Really hard to think of a good use for it. If you have a grass type, it will not get intimidated, but you know, that's about it. So yeah, moving on, we got Fur Coat next on the list, and official description says it has damage from physical moves, but in reality it only has damage from physical contact moves, or I guess from contact moves in general. I don't know exactly. There are, I believe, few special contact moves like Chesnaught, I believe. But yeah, basically lowers contact moves, physical contact moves, I guess, so it wouldn't affect Chesnaught. I don't know, but it is learned by Furfrou. You know, it's this new poodle Pokemon that you can customize, so I guess Game Freak thought, you know, it's a special cool Pokemon, we gotta give it a special ability. But I believe, like, if it would really practically give you double defense, people would actually use it more, but it is only for the contact moves, so it still gets destroyed by Excadrill's Earthquake and such things. So yeah, kind of a situational ability, and you know, only this normal type random doggy gets it, so yeah, not too big of an impact. And then we can move on to something more interesting, which would be Gale Wings, and that is learned by the Talonflame family, signature ability at least at this moment for the Talonflame and its prior evolution, and it basically gives priority to flying type moves. And I've been using Talonflame a lot, and gotta say I really love this ability. It is amazing. I've been able to set up with Scissor. Like, I had a situation where Scissor was locked into Bullet Punch. I brought in Talonflame, and I took one Bullet Punch, I Sword Stance, and I saw the damage output, and Bullet Punch did under half, so it was clear to me I could live another one. And I did live another one, so I went all the way up to +4. And then I was able to out-prioritize, outspeed the Bullet Punch, thanks to this magnificent ability, Gale Wings. And I was just able to use Acrobatics, destroy that Scissor. And the reason why I wanted to go all the way +4 in that match was that my opponent had a Rotom he hadn't used yet, so I wasn't really sure if I could take it out in one hit. I wasn't entirely sure if it was more defensive or offensive, and Rotom otherwise has good natural bulk, so I wanted to have the +4, and thanks to Gale Wings I was able to get I was able to be greedy and go all the way to +4, and then just destroy that Rotom outright, and then I believe he had like a Mega Guard Jump, so I destroyed that thing as well. So it was really useful, and the fact that you can, with Gale Wings, you are able to run like Adamant Nature if you want on Talonflame, because with priority Gale Wings, Acrobatics, and Brave Birds, you can just kind of bypass the speed. You don't need to worry about it, and this means you can also be faster than Choice Scarf users, which makes this just absolutely incredible. Coupled with Sword Stance, or even if you want to run Bulk Up, it's definitely an incredible ability, such a unique ability that makes Talonflame actually relevant competitively, and nothing else to say, but overall a great ability. And if you're going to be using Talonflame, definitely give it this new Gale Wings ability, and you can just kind of wreck shop with it, and that is definitely what sets Talonflame apart from other random birds. And even with the Stealth Rock weakness, you know, with this ability coupled with some other features that it has, it definitely makes it a good Pokemon. I'm not sure if it's gonna be sticking in an OU, but at least at this time, like, it seems so good that it actually could. And yeah, I think that's about it that I want to say about Talonflame. I really want to talk more about Talonflame because it's overall such a great Pokemon. It's definitely one of my favorite pokes, but I don't want to get caught rambling about that. So we are going to be moving on. Next on the list, we got ability Gooey, and that's an ability that is learned by the Goodra family. So the new Gooey legendary, I guess you would call it the pseudo legendary of this generation, Goodra and its pre-evolution. So when you make contact with this Pokemon, your speed gets lowered by 1 stat. It's, so again, kind of situational, but when you think about it, if you're facing something like Dragon Dance Salamence and it locks itself into like Outrage, and then you then it destroys your Goodra, and you're about to get destroyed, but because of this ability Gooey, Salamence's speed gets actually dropped by 1 stage, and then you're actually able to save your ass and outspeed the Salamence and then destroy it because of the Gooey ability. So yeah, it could still have some impact because there are still a lot of good contact moves, and Goodra could be doing some shenanigans with it. Like, it does have, I believe, Sap Sipper and then Hydration as its other abilities, but the fact that Rain is kind of nerfed makes this Hydration not so relevant, because it would be cool to run Rest on it in the rain, but you know, with the new mechanics of rain and all the weather, like, it might be harder to pull off. But still definitely an option to run on the Goodra if you're going to be using it to save you from some horrible situation, if you are able to get your opponent's speed lowered, like I was rambling about just momentarily. But then we move on. Next on the list, we got a Grass Pelt, which is learned by Go-Goat and Skiddo, and it boosts the defense when the terrain is grass. There are these new terrain type moves like Grass Terrain, Electric Terrain, Misty Terrain, stuff like that. So if you have the Grass Terrain on, it boosts up the defense of a Go-Goat. But yeah, kind of a, I don't know, situational ability. I guess they wanted to have some new abilities to go along with these new moves, so they made this Grass Pelt, which is kind of random, but only Go-Goat learns it, and it's I don't know, I guess it may have some competitive uses, but, you know, it's a pure grass type that doesn't really have anything really special going for itself, and I don't think this grass pelt will make a real difference. It might actually just be better off having, like, Sap Zipper, to be honest, but yeah, I don't know. Not much else to say about it. Next on the list we got Magician, which is learned by Klefki and the Delphox family. And it's an ability that basically makes it so that your Pokemon steals the opponent's item when it hits it with a move. So first off, if we think about Klefki, it has access to Prankster. So Prankster is definitely the preferred ability on it. Because you can have like priority spikes and priority Thunder Wave and stuff like that. So first off, you don't want to be using Magician on it, and then I guess on Delphox, well, all the Pokemon pretty much, like, it's hard to see this ability being useful on anything, even if more Pokemon would have access to it, because all the Pokemon pretty much want to have their specific items that makes this one specific set like somehow relevant, makes it special. If you think about Delphox, I think it's better off with something like Choice Scarf, Life Orb, Choice Specs, and you know, this ability, like if you hit something without an item, I guess the only use would be like if you really want to use it, like Fire Gem Delphox, and after that you could steal your opponent's item. But even in that case, like you might end up with something like you don't want. Like if you steal a Choice Band from your opponent, then you have a Choice Band in Delphox. Although, like, if you get rid of opponent's Choice Band, it may help you, but then again it hinders down Delphox. So extremely situational ability, and competitively just not good. You wanna rely on the item you have in the first place to make the Pokemon excel at what it does the best, not just steal some random items. Like, not really good. It's kind of like, I guess it's kind of like a better version of Pickpocket, which wasn't a good ability in the first place in Gen 5. So not much else to say about this ability. Just not really good. Not really good. And then on the list we got Mega Launcher, and that powers up Aura and Pulse moves by 50%. And Pokemon that have it are Mega Blastoise and Clawitzer and its pre-evolution Clauncher. And it basically boosts up moves such as Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Dragon Pulse, Heal Pulse, and Water Pulse. Not sure about Heal Pulse, how that actually works out, but apparently it gets some sort of boost, but it doesn't actually do damage, so I don't really know. Does it heal more if you have it on? I believe Clawitzer still learns that, so I don't know how that actually works out. But on Mega Blastoise, I don't really know. I guess the only reason they gave it is that because it sounds kind of cool. I bet it's only a thing for the casual fans. You have Mega Blastoise, it has ability Mega Launcher. It sounds really cool in the eyes of casual fans, but like Mega Blastoise, I guess it can use like the Water Pulse and Dark Pulse, but that's about it. But it is definitely an ability made specifically for Clawitzer, because it learns Aura Sphere, Dark Pulse, Water Pulse, Dragon Pulse. So that's a set right there with Life Orb or maybe Choice Scarf, what have you. So definitely a nice ability on the Clawitzer. But even still, like the Water Pulse, if you think about that, it's only as powerful as Surf, because it's 60 base power times 1.5, that's 90. So that's the same base power as Surf. Because Surf got nerfed in this generation, it is no longer 95, it is now 90, and a lot of other moves got nerfed too, but it's, I guess, you know, the chance of confusion is kind of nice, so you may as well run the Water Pulse on it. But yeah, specific ability for the Clawitzer, and Aura Sphere Dark Pulse definitely gives you pretty good coverage aside from Fairy types, and then you have Water Pulse and Dragon Pulse kind of to patch up that rest of the coverage. So like it can definitely put this ability to use, because it is specifically again made for the Clawitzer. So nice ability for that. Not sure if there's going to be more Pokemon with that. And then Spade ended up rambling for another half an hour again. making the whole thing into a 1-hour session, which was not my original intention, but that is what happened. And that's why I'm kind of splitting this episode into 2 parts. And originally I was like, okay, we got like 24 abilities plus some few extra things that I'm going to be rambling about. But I was like, it shouldn't take too long, like if I go like 1 minute, 1 ability. But yeah, I kind of ended up rambling about some... No, there are so many different abilities. I have more things to say about some other abilities than some other ones that are more relevant and have some more interesting pointers to talk about. So yeah, this kind of turned out to be a half-an-hour episode, and then there's another one. So hopefully you are interested in listening to another episode. Not sure though, but like on the first couple episodes, a lot of people seem to like the 20-minute-ish episodes. So I don't know if this is gonna be too much, you know, going over half an hour. But let me know in the comments below. I would definitely like to make more. And again, this is like more of a, this is like, again, kind of a bigger topic to discuss about, you know, all the abilities. So that's why, well, I should have known that it would drag out for this long, but I didn't. But yeah, let me know again, now that you listen to a half-an-hour episode, do you think I could make more half-an-hour episodes, or do you think the 20-minute episode mark would be the absolute max, or is that better, 20 minutes or half an hour? Let me know. But that's gonna be this episode today. So, but yeah, this is kind of an experiment, a new series which I'm now doing. So let me know what you think again. But personally, I would kind of like to make it into more like half-an-hour-ish episode, but this is what this episode turned out to be. But at least I can now ask your opinion, see what you like. A lot of people liked the first episode, so tell me what you think about this one, and I will take your opinions into consideration into making future episodes. And of course, you are always free to suggest more topics to me and stuff like that. So let me know in the comments below what you think again, and I will check you guys next time with more abilities on Competitive Crunch. Until then, this is TheFlamingSpade signing out. Peace.